welcome back to my channel. My name is Amani and I am the Soft Life Sojourner. Thank you so much for joining me for another week. I am really looking forward to this week because I feel like this is a topic that has been coming up all week long, actually for the past couple of weeks. And so, yeah, I'm excited to share with you guys. But before I get to that, please make sure that you are liking, commenting, subscribing, following, sharing, all that good stuff, so that we can really truly share just the word with others. If anyone is interested in my journey as I am trying to figure out more ways to share just different things that are happening, I feel like, to be honest, right now I'm at a standstill with my job and with just where I feel like I'm going to be moving. And when I say moving, I just mean like which route I'm going to take in things. So it's really hard to share a journey that I feel like is at a standstill. And please comment if you have ever felt that same way, where you feel like, okay, I know I'm supposed to be moving. I know I can feel that something's going to be changing, but I just don't know what's going on. Please let me know if that's ever been you, because that is literally me right now. Um, so yeah, especially with the school year is about to be up, figuring out what I want to do during the summer. I'll have my son, but it'll also be like time where I can, kind of sit and really figure things out, which direction I want to go with maybe even putting some type of business together, or all of these ideas I have in my head. But I know that the way to combat that is to pray about things, but it can be difficult when you are feeling like you are not hearing from God. But in that same breath, I want to say it's hard to hear from God when our minds are so cluttered and clouded with all the other things that we allow to distract. And I actually just watched this like quick Instagram video the other day, and it was this guy saying or talking about how we have so much noise in our lives from so many different things, from our spouse to our children to having the TV on, music going, being on the phone, or whatever the case may be, that we're not even making room to be in that quiet place with God. And that's definitely me. And it's interesting. Um, as you get older and you start kind of connecting the dots or putting things together, realizing how a way that you were when you were younger has to do with how you are now, but you didn't even realize that it was something that really would be a big deal. I remember when I was younger, and I was always told not to like listen to music while I was doing homework, to learn how to sit in quiet and do it. And for some reason, I could never do my homework or study or really do anything in silence. I either had the TV in the background, even if I'm not watching it, I would have music playing. And at that time, we had like the CD player with the headphones. So I would have that sitting by my work, and I could not do that. And now I've noticed at 33, I still have a problem with doing things without some type of noise going on. Like, for example, when I clean at night, let's say if it is okay, let's say if my son is awake, then I'll still have like my little one earbud in my ear with whatever I'm listening to, whether it's an audiobook or a TV show or a song or whatever. I'll have that in my ear, and the noise allows me to focus. I don't know why, but when I don't have my earbud in, when I'm cleaning or doing things around the house, and not when I'm playing with my son or anything like that, but when I'm cleaning or doing anything around the house, I have to have some type of noise, or I can't focus, which is the weirdest thing. When I learned how to drive, my husband is actually the one who taught me how to drive. And when I was learning that, I had to have the radio on. And I know most people, especially when you're, 16, 17, 15, whatever the age, learning how to drive, you need to be in complete silence. But no, at the time, if I didn't have Drake playing, I could not focus on the road. It was the craziest thing. And so that's what I see myself doing today. And I know a lot of people, we tend to not make that time. So yeah, that's just how I've been feeling lately. I have been applying to more jobs, as I've been doing for the most part each week, whether that's 1, 2 jobs. Yesterday I actually applied to 4. So that's good, and I'm hoping to hear back. But yeah, I just know that I need to quiet my mind or quiet my space a little more so that I could focus and actually give him room to answer. Just like when you're talking to someone and they're talking to you, and then they're asking you all of these questions, but then they keep talking over you, so you don't even have room to answer the questions that they're asking you or speak on or touch on whatever it is that the conversation is about. So it's the same way with God. We have to remember that he's a jealous God, and he gets jealous when we fill our time with other things. And I'm not saying that as a judgment to anyone. That's literally what I have to tell myself. I wake up and I say, okay, Amani, it's it's time to get up and pray. How would God feel knowing that you prefer this sleep over whatever? And I'm not saying to run yourself ragged. It's just figuring out how to balance it all. So yeah, that's it. But please let me know if you feel that way, or have ever felt that way, and what are some of the things that you've done to kind of combat those thoughts and feelings of God not hearing you, or not speaking back to you, or just feeling kind of, I don't necessarily want to say lost, because I don't speak that over my life and I don't speak it over yours, but sometimes we just feel like in that in between, in those waiting stages, and the waiting can be um really long and tedious. So yeah, let me know. Also, you can go ahead and throw down there what you've been thinking about my videos. If there's anything I should add, take away, what are some different topics that you want to hear about? What are some things that you would like me to share about myself, or whatever the case may be? Please let me know. Okay. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead and get into the video. So today, I want to touch on something that I started touching on in the last video, but like I said, I wanted it to really focus on Mother's Day and less on other things. And so, what I want to talk about is just a heaviness. And the name of this, or the title of this video, is A Weighted Walk, because that is exactly how my last probably month has felt. And I felt that way before, but as you start getting closer to God and start reading more of the word, and realizing things and seeing those connections, you start to realize, or you start to notice things more. So in this past month, it's just felt really heavy. I don't know how to explain it really, but it's just felt like I don't want to say a burden, but a burden to be a follower of God. And that is in no way disrespectful to God, but more so when we start to get closer to him and learn more and more of our responsibility of being a follower of Christ. It can be very heavy when friends or family are going through things, and as a believer, number one, if they are not, that is something, if they were to give their lives to God, or at least to allow you to pray with them, pray for them, or just speak to them on whatever is going on, that could lessen some of the burden for them. So that can be heavy, knowing the peace and the greatness and the glory that we get from God, and not being able to share that with others, or having those friends and family members who aren't believers. But it can also be heavy internally, at least for me. I can't speak for anybody else, but internally, when as someone who was already, even before I really started reading the Bible or all of that, I've always considered myself, and I would have to look up the exact definition, because I don't want to speak something over myself that could be negative. But me and my sister always talk about how we feel like, or have felt in the past, or all these years, that we are empaths. And pretty much my understanding of that is where you take on other people's emotions so much that you start taking that on. So for example, if somebody is saddened by something and they're talking to you about it, there's the empathy part where, or even sympathy, where you start feeling sad for them, or you feel bad, you tear up because whatever they're talking about is sad. However, you take on, or me and my sister have this thing where we start taking on those emotions as if that thing is actually happening to us. And so I feel like that, but even 10 times greater, because I know that is my responsibility to pray for whomever something's happening to, or to be there for whoever it's happening to. And that's not an issue. It's just after a while, it starts weighing on you, because there are but so many things a person can take in, especially emotionally. And when you feel like all of those things are being piled on and piled on and piled on, this walk with God can really start to feel like it's just heavier and heavier and heavier. And so I've been feeling like that because, like I said, there's just some things going on in my family, family that I know are hurting, family that I know are going through, just major things that me myself start to take on as if these things are happening to me, or me having that feeling. And this could be part of that older sister syndrome, or being the oldest, where you feel like when someone in your family is going through something, it's your job to take care of it. Being the oldest daughter, being the oldest, well, for me, I'm the oldest cousin, I'm the oldest everything. I was born first with that line. And so sometimes for me, it feels like, even if I may not speak it to the person, or even if I don't make it known that I feel like I need to take care of it, something internally makes me feel like I need to take care of things, and I don't know why. But again, it could be just the oldest thing. It also could be because, as someone who is trying to walk like Jesus walked and wanting to be helpful and, do for others, that I just feel this obligation. And technically I am obligated to help my brother, help my sister, help my friend, whomever. But again, it starts to get heavy, like it's my responsibility not only to help, but then, go back and then check on that help and pretty much fix it until there's no more fixing that needs to be done, because it's all taken care of. And I'm really, really, really having to be okay with knowing that that's not how things work. And I was actually having a conversation with a friend because I had seen this video, which, can I just say, I'm loving the fact that I created a brand new Instagram only for the simple fact of, I now have true control over what I input into my eyes, into my ears, because now that my what's it called? Like the algorithm is mostly set for Christian content, because that's all I follow on my the Soft Life Sojourner page, as well as that's all that I watch on there, really, is Christian content, or like, lifestyle, where it's like clothes or hair or makeup or whatever. I run into so many like amazing videos that really get me thinking about not only myself, my walk with God, the way that I treat people. But so I'm just loving that. So if you are feeling, just as a side note, if you're feeling bogged down by social media, start a brand new one, because you don't realize how trapped you are in that cycle of watching the same type of, I don't even want to say trash content. I'm not trying to be rude, but just, that content where it's always somebody complaining. It's always someone cursing. And I'm not trying to sound like an old person. It's not that I have an issue with cursing. It's more so when, like that video, it wasn't even called for in that video. And it's just for the sake of being extra and all of that, or just things that don't serve us anymore. Start a new page, start a new TikTok or whatever it is, or like create a new account and be in full control of what you're taking in. Because I'm sure a lot of us, or at least I know for me, before I created this new page for my new brand, if you will, I had the same page since high school, I guess, or whenever Instagram came out. So it's literally just accounts that I followed over years and years and years, some that still pop up, some that don't, whatever the case may be. But now as an adult, I've realized how important it is for me to really protect my eye gates, protect my ear gates. And I keep seeing this trend about like when you realize you have free will. Well, we have free will. If I want to start 10 accounts for 10 different things, I can. If I want to completely delete Instagram, I can. If I want, I can do whatever I want, essentially. Obviously there's restrictions on that, but sometimes we just, again, get so wrapped up in things being the same, or things, oh, I have this account, so it has to stay this. I have to keep my picture like this, or whatever the case may be. No, if something is not serving you and serving you with the purpose of serving God, if that's, I'm assuming that's your purpose if you're watching this, but you can get rid of it, you can change things. I tell my students that all the time. They think because somebody does something, or because it's the way that it's always been done, that that's the way that it's always going to be, and that's not the case. And that's my little spiel. But the video that I had seen was talking about how, as believers, we start taking on that role of having to be the fixers and fixing everything, and how when we are, let's say if a friend is in need, we pray for them. But then after the prayer, like I was saying, we feel like it's our responsibility to then go and check up. Okay, after we check up, then we help if there's more help needed. And then after that, we do another thing, and we do another thing again until the problem is solved. And we end up being either too much of trying to be a problem solver, or people pleaser, or whatever it is, that we lose sight of the purpose that we were given in the first place. Maybe it was only meant for you to just pray for that person, and that's it. Maybe it was meant for you to give that person money, and that is it. And that is okay, because at the end of the day, we can only do what we can do. But just me recently, I feel like I keep stretching until I have no more to give. And I'm thankful that, because I'm so used to it, I'm able to stretch further than many people. But then that can also be a bad thing, because, well, I don't even want to say could be. I think that is a bad thing now, because after doing that for so many years, and that being ingrained in my mind to continue to reach and stretch until I can't anymore, that has become my norm. That has become my personality, essentially. And even though, again, helping is not a bad thing, I'm not complaining that I'm someone who helps, because I've seen the other side of that, of people who are selfish and don't care and don't want to do for other people. I don't want to be like that. But I want to help to a fault, to where I, give so much of myself that I have no more for myself, whether that be money or time, or mental, like my, you get what I'm saying, my mental capacity. I'm just giving it all. And so that's just something that's been on my mind lately. And so I just want to, I guess, talk about how, for many of you who are watching, you may feel that way too, especially because I know a lot of my friends are the oldest, or a lot of my friends are having to take on a lot of responsibility. But I just want to say, it's okay, guys. The responsibility is not all on us. If our parents are having problems, that's not on us. If our family is struggling, we can do as much as we can do, but that's not completely on us to fix. If our marriage is failing, yes, that's something that's on us. But in a marriage, there's two of us. That's not, for example, if me and my husband are going through something, which, to be honest, we have. Last year we had a moment. We made it now because we both realized it's not just one person's job. And I can be honest with that, because at the end of the day, this is real life. And I've told my husband since we were 15 that I will never be getting a divorce, because that's all I've ever seen in my family. And even though anything could happen, I do know that I strive to make sure that my relationship works, if it's things that are fixable. It's those little annoyances that we just let go until we snap. So it's things like that. Now, adultery and all that stuff, that's a whole nother case, which I'm thankful that I have yet to experience, thankfully. However, that is something that happens, and that's something that within that relationship you have to decide. But regardless, we have to stop putting it all on us when things in other people's lives are not going the way that they should, based on their choices. Because at the end of the day, the whole reason why we are not forced to abide by God's word and abide by his laws is because if we were forced to do so, then we wouldn't be able to show him how devoted we are and show our love. If you were in a marriage or in a relationship or a friendship, and you were forced to be that friend, if you were forced to be in that relationship, would you want it? Would you feel like you wanted that person there if they were forced to be? So it's the same thing with God, and it's the same thing with the way that we are taking everything in on ourselves. We aren't forced to take on everybody's role, because that's not a relationship and that's not sustaining. We can't sustain that type of lifestyle. And so when I was trying to find a scripture that related to what I'm talking about, because again, as I say all the time, I like to bring it back to scripture, because number one, it helps me remember that God is in it all, but then it also is something that you can refer to and see how it touches you, because we all read the scripture differently. But it took me to Matthew 11:28 excuse me, 28 to 30. And it says, Then Jesus said, Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light. And what I take from that is just, we burden ourselves with so much, with everyone's problems, with everyone's struggles. However, if we were to take all of that and place it on at the feet of Jesus, we would be able to bear it all. And I know for me that resonates with me, because as of lately, I have noticed myself feeling so at peace with certain things, because I'm like, okay, God, you'll take care of that. If it's something going on with a friend, I do my job to pray for them or to speak life into them as best I can. But then I'm like, God, take care of that. Because at the end of the day, yes, God doesn't give us more than we can bear. And if he's not going to give us more, why are we giving ourselves more? Like if he's not trying to overfill us with, everybody's issues, everybody's problems, everyone's struggles, then why are we doing that to ourselves? And so I just know that when we lay all of that down, like I said, at the feet of Jesus, he will take care of it, even if we don't know. And I have in my notes here, excuse me. I have in my notes here, it says, trust that God is using you even if you have no idea how or why. I know that I may not be able to solve all of my friends or my family's issues, but I do know that from these videos, or from me sending a text or a prayer or a phone call or whatever it is, that God is using me to do whatever it is that he's going to have me do. And then that's it. It stops there. And when I say it stops, I don't mean you stop caring, but me putting all of my effort and energy into something that I can't control is not sustaining. It's not going to help me, and it's not going to even help the other person, because what can I do with a situation that I'm not in? And so I'm just trusting that he's using me in whatever way he's able to be a blessing to others and to help others as much as I can, but not, stretching myself to where I have nothing left to give myself or my son or my husband, everyone in my household right now. And so it's just not for us to know exactly what's going on, why whatever's going on. It's just for us to be there and help. But I do know one thing, and this is something else I've been feeling lately. I feel like right now, even though it's not my job to fix things, I do feel like because God has a hand in certain things right now, that certain relationships are being restored. I can only speak on myself, but I know because of certain events that have happened, I've gained a relationship with family members that I haven't talked to in years. And so this is what I mean when I say that God is so good and he knows exactly what he's doing, because even in the moment where certain things feel overwhelming, or feel like you are taking on the world, or feel like you don't know how this is going to be fixed or which way this is going to go, God is still using all of these negative times to uplift and to connect and to join and create something so beautiful. And I know it doesn't seem like that all the time. And I tell people that, or certain people that I've had to have this conversation with, there are certain things that I've never had to experience. For example, I've never experienced, nor am I begging to experience, a significant death in my life. However, I do know that whenever that day comes, because we are all getting older, we're watching our grandparents get older, watching our parents getting older, watching our siblings get older, we're watching our aunts and uncles and, friends, everyone's getting older. So I know that day will come at some point. I'm trying to strengthen my relationship with God now. So in the moments where I'm weak and I'm angry and I'm sad, eventually I'll get back to him. And so all I can say is just in those moments of heaviness, just continue to pray. And it's easier said than done, but again, God takes on those burdens for us so that we don't have to drown in them. So just continue to pray, to do everything in love, speak in love. That's one thing that I've had to practice, is speaking more in love and less in judgment, because who am I? I'm not perfect. I'm not going to throw stones at glass houses. Yes, there's certain things that I haven't done or I haven't experienced, but just because I haven't done or experienced what you've done doesn't mean that I don't have my own experiences that I'm either ashamed of or, don't want to necessarily revisit. And that's, a whole nother conversation of, actually that may be another video of who I was before I met God. But yeah, so I'm not going to throw stones, but we just have to just pray and pray that God is going to take care of it when we are not able to. So yeah, those things will definitely get lighter when we let God handle them. And that's just a little update on what's been going on and how I've been feeling for whoever's watching. But yeah, I'm thankful that I have God to stand on in those moments where I don't know what to do. And let me tell you guys, fasting and prayer works. And I'm not trying to say this like it's some magic pill, but my a family member of mine has been going through a lot. And you know how I just did the Daniel's fast, so I decided that the last 3 days of the 21 days I was going to do a full fast specifically for my family. And even though how God answered the prayer was not how I expected, I was like kind of shocked and thrown off of how things ended up. It was actually DJ, my husband, who reminded me that our end result is exactly what I fasted and prayed for, which then, now that I'm thinking about it in this way, answered another prayer, or I'm seeing God work even more, because I've specifically been praying that my husband deepen his relationship with God, or God called to him to want to deepen his relationship. And so and my husband's not an atheist or anything by any means. He, loves God and loves that I love God. However, I can't have a relationship for him. I can't have a relationship for any of my friends. I can't have a relationship for my sister. I can't have a relationship even for my son. I can only have a relationship for me. So as much as I know that he loves the Lord, I still pray that he finds his own relationship with him. So the fact that when I couldn't even see the blessing in that moment, my husband was able to see it and he was the one who spoke on it. God is so good, because he is working in that man. And I am very thankful for that, because I truly love my husband and he is amazing. He's an amazing dad. He's an amazing husband. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have his flaws. I have my flaws, but if I love him as much as I do right now, I could only imagine how much more when we are sitting to pray together or to intercede for people together. So I'm excited for those moments. And like I said, this is part of my journey, and it's not to, give too much of my business, but I try to speak, or I'm wanting to speak on the things that I feel like will touch other people's homes, because I'm sure that I have friends or family, or even if I don't know you and you're watching this, that you may either have a spouse or know someone that you've been wanting to come to God, whether it's a parent or like I said, a family member, a spouse, a sister, whatever the case may be, that you're wanting to come to God. So pray for it, because I can see how God is working little by little by little. And yeah, and that's something else that we can talk about too, when we desire more we desire for someone to have a relationship with God more than they desire it for themselves. That's something that we can talk about as well. But because that's tough too, when you can see how far a person can go, or you can see all of the potential, all the greatness on them, and they just don't know how to access it because they are so of the world. And again, when I say things like that, it's not a judgment. That's just how you say it, I guess. Um, because we all started in the world at some point, for the most part, or had our moments, our spouts, where we were doing things that just fed our flesh, that were just, just felt good. So that's no judgment at all. But it's that thing where when you know better, you do better, and you want better for others. So we could definitely talk about that as well. But that's it for me today. I hope that you have an amazing week. I hope that you are having an amazing Sunday. Thank you guys for watching and sharing. Please, again, like, comment, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.